The early 2000s in gaming were dominated by the action sports trend, and seriously, everybody was jumping on this. Surfing, snowboarding, motocross, hell, even wakeboarding had a crack at a game. But no action sport dominated quite like skateboarding, and more specifically, the Tony Hawk Pro Skater franchise. And because of this, everyone wanted to try and come up with their own skateboarding masterpiece. We had X Games Skateboarding and Evolution Skateboarding by Konami. The Simpsons would continue their trend of trying to make games based on other people's successful ideas and release The Simpsons Skateboarding, a game that gives me one of the worst headaches I've ever had just thinking about it. Even Mickey and his pals at Disney jumped on the trend. Disney had a line of GameCube exclusive titles called the Disney Sports range, and within that range was a skateboarding game. I checked it out for myself a while ago because I heard it was terrible, and I heard right, it was abysmal. But what if, just what if, the team that was producing banger after banger took some of Disney's iconic IPs and made a skateboarding game within their award-winning engine that was just seen in its most refined state at the time in Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4. Disney's Extreme Skate Adventure was developed by Toys for Bob and published by Activision, the same guys that were publishing the Tony Hawk games. It was released in 2003 for the original Xbox, the GameCube, and the version that we will be looking at today, the PlayStation 2. There was also a GBA port developed by Vicarious Visions as well, but we might take a look at that another day. Now, before I played this for the very first time, I was fully in my Tony Hawk era. I played an unholy amount of Pro Skater 3 and 4, and also I loved all three films that are going to be featured in this game. So seeing these worlds colliding, that was like a major mind-blowing moment for me. Seeing the likes of Buzz, Tarzan, Timon and Pumbaa on the front and back cover was so cool. I could not wait to pop this one in the PlayStation and see what this was all about. There's also some unidentifiable kid on the cover as well, and the answer to who he is will be given to us upon booting up the game. The opening movie starts playing, as does Grow Up by Simple Plan. Now, Simple Plan at the time were one of my favourite bands. Their album, Still Not Getting Any, was the first album I ever owned. I was 6 years old and I'd gotten it with some birthday money. So discovering another banger by them through this game was awesome. In the video, we're seeing some footage of what looks to be a skate competition featuring a bunch of kids. And this was a competition to try and get into the game, which is actually insane, like how awesome that would have been. If only I knew about it, I could have entered in a heartbeat and won. Total lie, by the way, I don't even know how to stand up on a skateboard. Anyway, after that, we are taken to the main menu of the game called the stage. There is a free skate and a 2-player option, but we'll just be jumping into the play game option, which is the meat and potatoes of this bad boy. We are greeted to the character select wheel, and this is a banger lineup. From Toy Story, we have Woody, Buzz, Jessie, and Zurg. From Tarzan, we have the man himself, Jane, Turk, and Tantor. And from The Lion King, we have Simba, Nala, Timon and Pumbaa, and one of my favourite Disney characters ever in Rafiki. It's worth noting too that the human characters like Tarzan and Jane are kid versions of themselves, as well as Simba and Nala, all kid versions of themselves. I guess they just wanted everyone to be small in this game. Not everyone is unlockable from the get-go, but it is not hard to unlock everyone as this is a kids game. Speaking of kids, we have the aforementioned kids from the contest. However, you can use one of these slots to make your own skater instead, and genuinely, what kid isn't going to do that? I feel as though the only people that played as those kids were probably the kids themselves. Lil Romeo is here too, but he's locked, and I actually have no idea how to unlock him. So, I mentioned before that Disney's Extreme Skate Adventure runs on the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4 engine. So, does it have the same controls? Well, yeah, it does, but you've got to turn them on in the options menu first. Turning on the Pro controls is going to have the game play exactly like a Tony Hawk game. X is ollie, square is a flip trick, circle is the grab tricks, and triangle is for grinds and lips. Up and down will activate a manual, and R2 is for transfers and reverts. Each of the Disney characters have their own original arsenal of tricks, getting 2 unique flips and grabs each, which is a really nice detail. I also think that this is due to the fact that the Disney characters have their own unique boards. And I say boards, but like these guys are riding on anything but boards. Buzz is on a hoverboard, Simba's on a tiki mask, Jane is riding on a mirror which cannot be ergonomical at all. Now while yes, this is cool, I also found myself struggling to land tricks because I couldn't remember the orientation of the boards during the tricks, and I found myself landing sideways so much. Now, I know you could say skill issue, but when I played as the kid character with the actual skateboard, I didn't bail even half as much as I did with some of these Disney guys, so I think it is an issue with the random shaped boards. In terms of levels, each franchise gets 3 levels each, and the kid gets its own original level called Hollywood. The game doesn't just borrow the engine for Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4, it follows the gameplay structure too. Once you've loaded into the level, you have free roam. Go wherever you want, look at whatever you want. And while you're at it, you can look for the characters that are giving you the missions. They even borrow the blue arrow asset from Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4 here. As always, when I do a playthrough of this game, I like to start with the Toy Story world, and the first one here is Andy's room. This is most likely the level that you will know from this game. It's hailed as the best in the game by many, and though I'm not versed in Thug Pro, I'm fairly certain it is playable in that. So every level is going to have your standard Tony Hawk Pro Skater goals. There's going to be collecting skate letters, a high score, and a pro score, which they call extreme score in this game. But levels are going to have specific challenges for that level as well. So let's go over my Disney's Extreme Skate Adventure. Starting in the Andy's room, I had to compete in a race against these off-brand Hot Wheels cars around Andy's room, hitting these cute little checkpoints made up of dominoes. This army man then wanted me to free his men from the big chest, so I had to do a bean plant on it to get it unhinged and free the little green men. Once this was done, I got to go up one of my favourite set pieces in the whole game, this spiral racetrack that leads to the top of the drawers, where everybody's favourite emphysema sufferer Wheezy is. As per usual, the useless bastard's lost his squeaker again, so we've got to grind around the outside of this globe stand. That'll knock it off the drawers and open it up. This now acts as 2 bowls, which is cool to see a little levolution here. The squeaker is in one of the bowls, just jump down to collect it, but don't miss it like I did though and have to figure out how on earth you're going to get back in there, because my brain was not working and I had no idea for a good second there how I was getting back in that bowl. Next I headed to the bathroom, and hang on a second, you're telling me that this asshole, Andy, at the age of 8, gets his own sink, toilet and bathtub? That is utter woke nonsense, I say. In this bathroom is Rex, and he asks us to help get Ham out of the toilet, which sounds like an average Boxing Day request for me. So we climb the ramp to the sink, jump over the toilet, hit the flush button, and whooshka! The little piggy that nearly went to Turd Town has been saved. I hope he doesn't end up screwing me over in a later Toy Story game. The last unique goal that I did in Andy's room was tricking off of the blocks that spell Andy, and it was only recently that I found out that it doesn't actually need to be a lip trick, it can just be a grind, and that works a lot better for me because I hate lip tricks. Before we move on to the next level, you may have noticed that during this gameplay, I've been collecting these little sheriff badges. Now this is probably my only gripe with the game, the one thing that is stopping it from being a 10 out of 10 in my opinion. There are 25 collectibles per character per level. If you take the 4 characters that belong to a world, then add in the kid character that can access all levels as well, times that by 5, and remembering that everybody has 25 tokens to collect, not to mention that they are going to all be in unique spots as well, you will have to find 125 unique tokens in 9 levels, That is 1,125 tokens, and you can make it 1,150 tokens once you have played the kid's original level. And do you know who is dumb enough to have done that for a Retro Achievement Platinum? That's right, this dickhead did. Was it worth it? Yeah, it was kind of a nice feeling. Was I sick of hearing Jump 5 spinning around by the end of it? Absolutely not. What a tune. You'll also find these crystals hidden around the levels in different colours. These are stat points that you can collect for your custom character, with each colour corresponding to a different stat. The second Toy Story level finds us at Pizza Planet, another great level. This level is split into 4 rooms. There's 2 arcade rooms, a diner, and the kitchen. And there is plenty of good goals here to find and complete. Starting off, I talk to Cobblepot here, and he tells me that the machines are all off. We gotta turn them back on. That just means that we have to collect these little lightning bolt tokens to turn on the machine that it's next to. This features the infamous Alien Slime Drink It All the Time jingle, which if you've played this game, I guarantee that soundbite is living in your head still to this day. Also, I love the arcade cabinet section of this goal, but I'm yet to hit it in one combo because I am a failure and an embarrassment. Now that we've turned Pizza Planet into Overstimulation Station, it's time to get a high score. Finishing that one off, we can now go and see this little alien dude in the diner to see what body-breaking, mind-bending task he wants us to do. Jump on 7 chairs. Okay, well, there's surely a second half to this, right? Oh, okay, no, there's not. Awesome, sick. Jump on 7 chairs, what a goal. We get the extreme score from Ham here, collect skate letters for Rex, and try and talk to this alien about a goal, but he only wants Woody to do it. And that's another thing that this game has, character-specific goals, which is fine. It gives you a reason to try out everyone, but is also slightly annoying that I have to exit the level and then load it back up with someone else just for one goal. The final goal before I left Pizza Planet was to jump into this sink and do the tricks as the army man called them out to me. This is another thing stolen from Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4, and god, there's going to be a lot of these later on. Zurg's Planet is the final stop for the Toy Story section of our skating adventure, and this level is just okay. It's split into 2 main sections. There's the outside of Zurg's lair, where you can grind laser beam things, and the craters act as skate bowls when you're inside them. And there's the inside of Zurg's lair, which has a multi-layered half-pipe, fun grind lines, and the area where the boss battle takes place. Yes, I said boss battle, and we'll get there in a moment. But first, I talk to this green dude, and he wants me to open up this grate by grinding around the outside of it. Once we do that, we'll have access to Zurg's lair, but before we jump in, I'll get a high score of 75,000 big ones for this thing that I'm talking to, and then I'll jump into the grate, talk to the thing again, but now it wants an extreme score. We're going to get another Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4 copycat here. The aliens want us to skitch on the back of their UFO and launch off the platform with speed, and then do a distance challenge and a height challenge. This is literally just the same goal as Ranger Ron's Skitch Tour from Tony Hawk 4, even the distances are the same, both requiring you to get 150 meters of height and 350 meters of distance. After this is done, I find another little green man and he wants the skate letters, and this mission nearly sent me crazy. I was convinced I'd searched every square inch of this room, and for the life of me, I had no idea where the T was. It wasn't until literally the last second of my second attempt that I found it floating above one of the half pipes. So 3rd time's a charm, I get the skate letters for Zurg's World, and I'm headed back outside because I realise I've missed a goal. And honestly, it's not that much of a goal. All it wanted me to do was 3 spine transfers in and out of a crater while doing a trick that an alien calls out. Very simple, very easy. Now let's just wrap back around to that boss battle that I mentioned before. We need to swap to Buzz for this goal because who else is going to defeat Zurg? We get into the last room of the lair and you'll find Zurg is in the middle of a platform shooting at you with his gun. We talk to Rex and he tells us that we need to deactivate Zurg's force field. This requires us to complete the 3 loop-de-loops around the outside of the room. Once this is done, 3 sets of 3 platforms are going to spawn, leading us to the middle of the room. The middle platform is going to have a battery on it, and you need to get all 3 of these. Once that is done, Zerg is going to drop to his death. But we also unlock him as a playable character. That's pretty cool, isn't it? With that, the Toy Story world is complete and we can move on to the next franchise, that being Tarzan. Now, Tarzan had my favourite Kingdom Hearts level, and you can hear all about that in my Kingdom Hearts video. Click the link on screen now. But, how does the world of gorillas and beautiful jungles translate to a skateboarding game? Let's find out. Our first stop on the Tarzan tour is the Jungle Treehouse. The first person I talk to is a henchman, and tell me, you try to tell me that this man is not a gay icon. This is the definition of a bear, and you just want to cuddle him all up. Alright, that's enough simping. What do you want? He wants skate letters. Now this is actually a pretty simple path compared to the cheese that we had to deal with in the last level, and I'll mention it here, but I'm sort of playing this in the wrong order. The first level of every world is easy, the second level of every world is a bit more harder, and then the last level is where the harder goals are. So if you're playing it in the order that I'm playing it, where you go through all the levels in a franchise, by the time you jump to the next franchise like I have, you will notice the difficulty drop a fair bit, because you're playing the beginner level again. We find Henchman again, and this time he wants us to make a grind, the bow sprit grind. So we do this, and we fall to our death, only to land next to this gorilla, who wants us to do a lip trick on another gorilla's tree branch, because he doesn't seem to think that we are fully sick at skateboarding. We prove him wrong, hit a sick lip trick, and then these guys go off as if their nation has just won the World Cup. Now, it's high score time, and this is where the difficulty thing is going to kind of make you laugh. See, last level, we just had to get 150,000 points. And now that we're back at the first easy level for a franchise, they just want 15,000. This does not take very long at all. Henchman returns, and god damn it, I love this guy. He's after some delicious juicy fruits from the jungle, and it is up to us to find them. We're going to have to locate an orange, a pineapple, and a coconut and take them back to the lovely gay pirate. But be careful, stacking while you have one of the fruits in your possession is going to result in a bruising of said fruit, and you'll have to go and get it again. As our time in the Jungle Treehouse comes to an end, we have another single grind mission here, where we must act as a safety officer to eliminate the threat of a tree falling by making it fall. One more high score and we are out of here, and onto what I think could be the biggest piece of arse in this game. The human camp. Now, look, that's a bit of an unfair statement. The bottom of the level is pretty good. It's just how you've got to get there that really sucks, and I'm going to touch on that in a moment. In the main section of the camp, there is a goal to destroy everything in sight, and by that I mean the 54 stacks of porcelain plates that these hunters have brought on their guerrilla expedition. Now, Big Donnie here wants us to get 10 shuggy fruit, and I have no idea what the hell a shuggy fruit is, but here you go, 10 shuggy fruit. I hope I don't have to ever see the word shuggy fruit ever again. Yep, awesome. I probably should have just shut up, because now this idiot wants us to cook the shuggy fruit for him. We got to grind around these logs, which somehow makes the fire turn on, but I stopped questioning the logic of this game after shuggy fruit. Now that this arsehole's been fed, I hope he leaves us alone. Let's go do something else. I find another elephant, and he wants us to grind a wire that has a bunch of pots and pans connected to it. This is going to annoy the shit out of Clayton and drag him out of his tent. And you know what? The Clayton model here doesn't actually look horrible. It's high score time, and 35,000 points are required to complete this mission, and once that's done, we move on to part 2 of Operation Piss Off Clayton. We got to go around the outside of the tent, taking out the support poles that are holding up the tent. Once these 8 poles have been taken care of, the last 4 weak spots are lip tricks. If we hit these, the tent turns into a skate bowl, and Clayton is now homeless. Moving on to the part of the level that makes me hate it, the Jungle Vine section is a series of branches and vines that you have to combo in order to get to the bottom of the jungle, where there's even more collectibles and goals to find. Everybody's favourite gay icon henchman is here, and he wants us to find the skate letters for him. So I figured, the skate letter goal is probably going to show you the best path to take to get down here, and that's why they've done it this way. And I did it. I got all of the letters, and then I fell right at the end and got sent back to the top. The second time around, I made it, and right at the end, look, there's this Tarzan special logo floating there. And this is the other goal that I haven't mentioned. Every single level, for every single character, yet again, is going to feature that franchise's logo hidden in the level somewhere. This is another thing that I have once completed before for every character, for every level. That's like 5 logos per level. I'm not doing the math again. Anyway, I just want to point out that I've done that. I have the retro achievement to prove that I've done that, and there are no good guides for this online anywhere, so I was raw dogging this one. Once we hit the bottom of the jungle vines, we get to a lovely little waterfall area, which is genuinely one of the best looking areas in the game. There is a gorilla here, and he gives us the extreme score challenge, thus ending our time in the human camp level. Clayton's ship is the finale for the Tarzan portion of the game, and this gives me cruise ship vibes from Pro Skater 3. The first task here is to get the cargo doors open by getting the rusty, crusty seaweed off them. This is going to open up the ship where we can go down and do this level's boss battle. I say boss battle, but it is the easiest goal in the game. Henchman gives us our final Tarzanian skate ladder challenge. Tarzanian. As well as the high score and extreme score challenge, and man, I'm going to miss these guys. I hope nothing bad happens to them. Saying goodbye to Jane, because we need to swap over to Tarzan again to help free the gorillas. This is just a simple collect 7 keys mission, and I don't know what was so special about Tarzan being the only person who could do this. Can Jane not pick up a key? Anyway, another character swap here, and we're playing as the main girl Turk, because she has a character specific goal. Let's see what she has to offer. Wait. No! No! We're sending the bears to their death! After we finish committing hate crimes, we are then on to the final mission, which is to trap Clayton in a cage. I said it before, I'll say it again. This is the easiest mission in the game. You literally just wait 5 seconds for Clayton to walk under the cage, jump on said cage that you kind of already spawned next to, and then boom, he's trapped and the jungle is saved. But what about Pride Rock? How's Pride Rock looking? Well, let's jump into the Lion King portion of the game and see how it's looking. The first level here in the Lion King is that, Pride Rock, and it's pretty fun. There is the actual Pride Rock that you can climb up, but there's a lot of great skate pieces around the outside of the rock that makes this one fun as well. The first goal, we have to climb to the top of Pride Rock to dislodge the log that Scar has placed there, and it's blocking the spring. We follow the golden mist all the way up, hit a little grind, and the springs are flowing once again. The hyenas are the ones handing out score challenges here, and once again the difficulty drop off is very present. I think I might be playing this wrong. Another pretty easy mission here is given to us by Zazu. We have to direct the wildebeest to a patch of grass so that it can have a feed. The extreme score challenge was up next, and you know the drill by now. Get the score, well done, cool. Skate ladders in Pride Rock. This is one of the more fun lines, however, I severely bunged this one up, so it doesn't look as cool in my footage, unfortunately. And for the final mission of Pride Rock, we must grind a log to make a ginormous rock roll towards Scar, avenging our father's death. Scar, however, gets out of the way, so we're gonna have to deal with him a little later on. But before we do, let's head to the graveyard. And you know what? I was too harsh on Human Camp because this level is a mess. Navigating the graveyard is a nightmare. And even after 20 plus years of playing it, I am still not sure exactly where anything is. Still, there are some great skate pieces here and good memorable goals. We get the high score and the extreme score out of the way first, nothing I haven't conquered before. Another Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4 copy here. This time we're replicating the Bullseye launch from Alcatraz. The difference here is the ramp doesn't have a loop, and we don't need to get points on a target. Instead, we must directly hit the cage that Zazu has found himself trapped in. There's also no Bam Margera here punching himself in the face. So, 3 hits within 10 attempts, Zazu is free. And next up is the worst skate ladder challenge in the game. And I'm going to let the footage do the talking on this one. Now look, I'll admit, that may be a bit of a skill issue on my end, but still, that mission can eat a turd. We enter a cave and we find the generic lioness, and she wants us to collect elephant spirits. Now where have I seen that one before? This game somehow manages to get a G rating with not one mass murder mission, but 2 mass murder missions. And now look, knocking the henchmen in the water isn't a confirmed death. I can imagine that those guys are able to swim. But these hyenas are literally burning to a crisp in pits of lava. There is no surviving this. The good thing is, the bodies don't have to go too far because we're already in a graveyard. And with that grim comment, I'd like a change of scenery. The penultimate stop on our travels in this game as a whole is Scar's Canyon, and it was here that I realised a trend with the last level of all the worlds. They're named after the villain that we have to defeat in it. Isn't that a cool little thing? So, Scar's Canyon. This is an awesome level, both in skateability and aesthetic. Now, we're playing as my G Rafiki, and we're going to tackle the first goal, which is to complete a collection of grinds. The strength grind, the skill grind, and the courage grind. And a common occurrence for whenever I do this goal, and this has happened like so many times, I do the skill grind and the strength grind like straight away, but I always forget where the courage grind is. As you can see, with about 10 seconds left on the clock, it finally twigged in my head as to where it was. I hit the grind and I completed the challenge. I guarantee you, however, I will forget this when I play this game next. Tackling another high score, and this is child's play by now, I could do this in my sleep. As always, this opens up the extreme score goal on the level, so another 150,000 points down, and we are making good progress in the Canyon of Scar. We find Zazu at an empty watering hole, and he asks us to grind around the outside. Doing this will show a terrible animation of water coming out of the ground, and this is kinda cool, I guess. Normally in skate games we're trying to empty bowls, but here we are doing the complete opposite. What a crazy quirky little game this is. The last collection of skate letters within the Disney realms is a fun little line to hit. Once that's done, we can go to this half pipe thing with a hyena in it. The hyena asks you to deal with the pesky birds that are bothering him. To do this, you jump over this gap over and over again until you've hit 10 birds, and they go away and they leave the hyena alone. It was after this that I swapped over to Nala in order to complete a follow-up mission for Zazu. Now that the watering hole is full again, Zazu asks if we can lead some wildebeests to it. This is literally just the mission from Pride Rock, except now it's 3 wildebeests instead of 1. Now we move on to the finale. It is a 2-parter. If we want to deal with Scar, we've got to get rid of his pesky bodyguards first. We revisit an old friend in the form of a rolling boulder from Pride Rock. We need to dislodge 2 of these, and again participating in attempted murder. This will make them run away fearing for their lives, and that just leaves Scar. To deal with Scar, we need Simba. He's the only one that can knock this fella off. So, we've made Zerg fall to his death. We've trapped Clayton in a cage on his ship, leaving him there to die. We even tried to kill Scar earlier with the boulder on Pride Rock. So what malicious plan do we have to get rid of this naughty lion? It's a race. It's just a race through the canyon. Also, this idiot is like, let's see who will become the skate champion. And then runs. Like, bro, you lost from the start. Get out of here, you moron. And with that, we have seen and completed all that the Disney levels in Disney's Extreme Skate Adventure have to offer. But there is one more level to tackle, and in my opinion, we are saving the best for last. But before I jump into it, I'm going to need to create a custom character, because I'm not playing as one of those arsehole kids that won a competition. Get out of here, you nepo babies. Taking a look at the character creation mode, and while it isn't as expensive as Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4's, there's still plenty to choose from. All of it does look incredibly dorky, but I still managed to make this cool dude here. Also, I realised something for the first time ever as I was scrolling through all the options. There are no Disney skate decks or clothes to wear. These bastards will slap Mickey ears on everything these days, from shirts to bags to mugs to cock rings, and you're telling me they didn't put any Disney merch in here? That is mental. The last level that we'll be taking a look at is Hollywood, and it's one of my favourite levels in any Tony Hawk adjacent game. And sure, that could be the nostalgia just because of how much time I actually spent here as a kid, but it is also actually a good level. Jumping in, we spawn in the middle of the road and head straight to Captain Salty, who is a bit parched and requires 5 sodas. We can find these by entering the grocery store, which for some reason always reminded me of the grocery store from the city centre level in Monsters Inc. Scare Island. We quench the captain's thirst and he salutes us with a fish. We leave the grocery store to find another mission and we find this girl called Leslie. She wants skate letters, so for the last time we go hunting for them, and I could not find the E. I was ready to restart the goal as well, but watch this clutch play. Watch this clutch play from me. Boom! 1 second left on the clock, 10 million plus aura. I'm nearly 30. Moving on to one of 2 product placement missions we have here, we get to be an Uber Eats driver for McDonald's. We get 4 meals to deliver to the only 4 citizens of Hollywood. Hamish wants a cheeseburger, shopkeeper McDougal wants some fries, Leslie wants a... oh, not the McMilk, that's rancid. Is that a thing? That is not a thing in Australia. Is that a thing anywhere else? Are you getting milk with your McDonald's? The last order is an apple pie for Captain Salty. Our reward for running errands for Macca's are these dumbass clown shoes. What a waste of time. Hamish is the man handing out the high score challenges, and we're back to 15,000. Considering we're in a skate park as well, it takes like 10 seconds to rack this up. Also, unlocked Little Romeo here, so that answers that question. Finding Hamish again, and I just realised that for some reason his speech bubble always says tough kid, but the Macca's dude called him Hamish. Anyways, this is another race mission where we've got to go around Hollywood, starting near the bridge, wrapping around to go under the bridge, and then finishing up near the lighthouse. The unbelievably extreme score of 30,000 points will be our last score challenge for the game, and then we bump into Captain Salty again. This time he requires our help turning the light on at the lighthouse. We have to grind the top of the lighthouse, and I struggled here. I kept going from the railing to this power line over and over again. It wasn't until I realised that I could grind the lower part of the rail that I finished this mission. It's time for some more shameless product placement. We talk to an NPC called Mr. Nokia, and we have to ask the citizens of Hollywood to show us their ringtones. We're apparently collecting them. I don't know if this is like a Bluetooth situation or whatnot, but you find the person, they show you their ringtone, you listen to the whole thing, and once you've got all 4 of them, it plays this unskippable cutscene where the 4 citizens of Hollywood just dance to the ringtone. This, still to this day, confuses and upsets me. And look at that! I've unlocked a new face, skin number 5. Fantastic. One of my favourite missions from playing this as a kid was the grocery store destruction mission. Shopkeeper McDougal tells us that if we destroy $1,000 worth of groceries, we will win a prize. Now back then, this was hard. Nowadays, it's 2 blocks of cheese. Also, this is not as fun as I remember. Sadly, the hitboxes are so weird and I spent more time lining myself up to try and hit them than I did actually breaking them. Shopkeeper McDougal has another goal for us outside, and this is just another grind challenge. Again, 2 easy ones and another one that I had no idea where it was. Now this is entirely my fault that I didn't know where it was, because in the dialogue at the start of the mission, it actually shows you where it is. But of course, I skipped this and then I got lost. So, I quit out the mission, I restarted it just to hear the dialogue again, and I found out that the 3rd rail was near the docks, which is what kind of threw me off, because the first 2 were right near each other, and then this one was a fair bit away from them. Also, this parking garage is literally a carbon copy of the one from the Pro Skater 4 college level. Our resident hippie Leslie is appalled at the recyclable materials that are not being recycled in Hollywood. So it's up to us to find 8 pieces of trash and bring them to the recycling centre. And hey, what the hell? That's Mr. Nokia. Why is he working here? What a guy, working 2 jobs, hey? With that being said, we've pretty much seen everything that there is to see here in Hollywood. As you've been playing, you'll probably see photos on the walls of the Disney realms, and if you get close enough to them, a bit of film is going to spawn out of the ground. If you jump into that, it's going to ask if you want to be teleported to that level. But if you've done the playthrough like me and have already played through as the Disney characters, There's no unique goals here. It's literally just going to be finding the 25 tokens and the hidden logo. I don't think I could ever be bothered doing that ever again, so I'm not doing that here. Before I give my final thoughts on the game as a whole, it's time to go over the soundtrack, and we have got a banger list here. They actually did not need to go this hard for a kid's skateboarding game, but I am so glad that they did. The aforementioned Spinning Around by Jump 5 is a banger, but outside of that, there is actually a lot of really amazing rock music here. Downfall by Trust Company, The Energy by Audio Vent, Pacific Coast Party by Smash Mouth, and probably the most iconic song from this game, Sell Out by Real Big Fish, which I feel was in so many games in the 2000s. For me though, the best song in this game is Somewhere on Fullerton by Alistair. This is one of the best pop punk songs ever written, and I will forever love this game for introducing me to this song. I don't know what more I can say. This is one of my favourite games of all time. It is a near perfect skating masterpiece, and I truly believe it is the most underrated skateboarding game ever. While everyone else was trying to find something to compete with the Tony Hawk franchise, Disney just teamed up with them and took their beloved IPs and produced an amazing skateboarding game. I banged on about this in the Rugrats video, but there is so much love and care put into this, and it shows. I have so many great memories with this game as a kid, exploring levels, finally beating goals that I was stuck on for ages, and even just coming up with my own stupid storylines because I got stuck on levels and I had to make fun somehow. This game has stuck with me my whole life, and so much so that my band's logo is directly inspired by this game's logo. I mean, can you tell? Can you tell? This review was like my 1000th time going through this game, and I know that I've got about 1,000 more playthroughs left of me. This is a 9 out of 10 absolute must play. I love this game. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, do all the lovely stuff down below. Any support means the world. I'm in a band too, and we have all our social media stuff in the description of all of my videos. Checking us out would mean the absolute world to me. If you like pop punk, we might just be your thing. And lastly, leave a comment with your experiences to do with this game. I've been getting heaps of comments lately, and I actually can't tell you enough how happy it makes me engaging with you guys and talking about games. With that, I've been Satin Black. Thank you again for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.